Hello YouTube friends. Welcome to your robotics, 3D printing and more. I invite you to support my work by subscribing to my channel, sharing the video and giving me a like. Thank you very much. Today I bring you this complete project that is a soccer player cart. To do it we will need the following materials. I will leave a list of 3D printed parts in the video description. We are going to need these two cheap gear motors, and we are also going to need an HC6 Bluetooth module. It can also be used with other Bluetooth modules. We are going to need an Arduino Uno card and the LDOS98 driver, which is very common and there is a lot of information on how to handle it. To start, the first thing we do is take these 3D pieces. We are going to insert a marble or a ball into one of the pieces. Here we can see it, and we are going to adjust it with two 3mm diameter screws, and we are going to adjust it here. Then we are going to take each of these motors that are gear motors, and we are going to place them in these pieces, and we are going to screw them together. Here we can see that they are screwed. We can use a common screw, or we can use these screws that have a lock nut. Here we can see how the project can work out without having any problems. Let's see how I connected these gear motors, taking them this way on the left side and putting them positive on the right side, negative. The same with the one from here to the positive left side to the negative right side. After having secured the gear motors here, this piece here, what we are going to do is place the L298 driver and the one that goes to the positive side of the motor that is on the left side. We are going to connect positive and negative in this way as indicated here, and the one on this part, which is really the right, this is the left, we are going to connect it positive here and negative here. In this way they will rotate correctly. These parts that are here must be placing all the jumpers. This is the regulator one. This is the one that manages this motor so that it is enabled, and this one that has this motor enabled, and we leave this bridged, and here, of these four we are going to take it respectively to the pins of the Arduino. This one here, which is actually 1, it goes to pin 10 and 2, it goes to pin 9 and 3, it goes to pin 8 and 4 goes to pin 7. We are going to explain this more in the description of the diagram, and as I told you, the Bluetooth module goes into port 0 and port 1 respectively and connected to 5 volts. We are going to use some 18650 batteries, two 18650 batteries to have enough autonomy. Here we have them. We are going to place them in this part. We are going to fix them with screws and through the jack. We are going to connect this jack powering the Arduino Uno. And from this we are going to take the voltage that comes out, which is more or less 7.4 volts, and we are going to send it to the positive and negative of the driver. L298. Here is the positive and the negative. It is a very simple assembly to make. You do not need advanced knowledge to make this robot. Now let's proceed to assemble it. We take this card, and we already installed the batteries, and we also installed the L98 driver, and we placed them here in the front. We're going to slide it here. And we are going to place it. Let's turn off the power. And here we already have it. Let's disconnect. Here are the batteries. You can add an on, off button there. And here, after we have this piece on this side, what we do is with the screws. We assure you. The screws are 8 mm long and 3 mm in diameter. Here we are going to take it. And we adjust the same in this way. Here we are going to adjust it Y. Ready, we have it. Now what we also do is secure the Arduino board with these 4 holes here. I'm not going to secure it because I have it protected, but if you have the card you can connect it here directly with screws so that it looks more aesthetically pleasing at the moment. What I am going to use is some clamps, since I have it in the protection that the Arduino comes with. Here we already placed the Arduino Uno. I'm going to leave the jack connected here. This HC06 module goes here through this hole and now we proceed to place the tires. We adjust them. Let's go for the other tire. We already have it on. Now what we do is place this protection. It is important. Otherwise another cart could hit the tires and could take them off. So it is important to have this piece. Although originally this assembly came with this piece to push the ball, it came off very easily and also did not comply, let's say, with the regulatory policies for soccer robots. So I changed it for this one. Here we have the number 8 on both sides, and now what we do is place this piece here. We open a little, we lower it. And now we adjust here with the screws. And that's it, we have already assembled our robot to play soccer. Now we organize these cables a little. Now, we are going to do a little test to see if it is working. We are going to turn it and see that it is working the other way. Forward, backward, smooth spin, and there we have it. Here we have the connection diagram. We have 2 batteries, 18, 6, 50 that generate volts, and they go directly through a jack to the Arduino Uno, and they also go directly to the L298 driver where it says more 12 volts goes to the positive and GND goes to the negative. After driver L298 we see that each of the gear motors are connected and the jumpers are also bridged. This is the regulator and the one that enables motor 1 and enables motor 2. We can also see that these connections from the L298 driver, the one I made, and one goes to pin 10 of the Arduino, pin 2, goes to pin 9, pin 3, goes to pin 8, and 4 goes to pin 7. HC6 goes connected. VCC goes 5 volts from the Arduino and GND goes to the negative of the Arduino. Here where it says TX of the HC6 goes to the 0RX connection of the Arduino 1, and finally the RX of the HC6 goes to the TX of the Arduino 1. That's all. The connection is very simple to make. Here we have the Arduino code. The first thing we are going to do is define pin 789 and 10. Then we define a variable command that is going to start with the letter S to stop, and here in the initial configuration in void setup what we do is we start the serial port for communication with Bluetooth. Then we say that this is pins 1, 2 and 3 and 4 are going to be output, although this is not necessary, but for practice we are going to do it here. In the main function, the first thing we do is ask if there is any data on the serial port. If so, we pass it to the command variable, and after this we verify that if we receive a letter F, then we move forward. We do this here. We say that we send a low to 1 and a high to pin 2, then a high to pin 3 and a low to pin 4. This way we move forward. If we receive a B, then we go backwards. If we receive in the command variable an R, then I go to the right with both wheels, and if I receive an L, I go to the left with both wheels. If I receive an S for stop, I stop by setting all the Arduino pins to low. If I receive in the variable command the and I go to the right with a wheel in a slower way. Otherwise, if I go and receive the letter G in the command, I go to the left with a wheel but a little smoother. And that's all. The code is a very simple code, very commented, very easy for you to modify. Here we have the application for Bluetooth. I will share all the resources at no cost. Remember that you can subscribe to my channel and thus support my work here. We are going to be uploading these buttons here in the media. In the upload file option we are going to select them from our computer. I'm going to leave the entire shared resource, and we're going to define some buttons to go left, forward, backward, turn right, turn left, or go smoothly to the right. We are also going to connect a button to connect to Bluetooth, another button to disconnect, and a label to decide if the robot is connected or disconnected. Here, in the connectivity option, we are going to add a Bluetooth server, an active starter, and a web. I use this website to direct to my YouTube channel. Let's now see the blocks here. Actually, what we do is, for example, when we click here on the link, it takes us here to the YouTube channel. And we are also going to see that here when we initialize the script we place the buttons in false to avoid generating errors when we try to do some function. But the Bluetooth is not connected here when the screen is initialized. Then what we do is in the connect button option. Before selection we list our Bluetooth with addresses and names, and after selection, here we say that we call the Bluetooth client. We make the selection, and if the Bluetooth is connected, then we proceed to place the label that we are connected on. We disable the connected option and enable the disconnect option. It is a very simple code. I am going to leave it all shared here. When we click on the button that appears here to disconnect the option to disconnect, then what we do is set the state to disconnected, and we again disable the buttons for forward and backward, right, left, right turn and left turn. The left, now, so that the command only works while we have the button pressed. Then we select when this forward button is pressed. Call the Bluetooth client and send the text F so that it goes forward in the same way with the back button. Only when pressed, hold down. It's going to be sending text B and it's going to go backwards. In this way it will go to the right. To the left it will stop, and when we release this button it will stop. It always sends the variable or the letter S when we release the button. That way we can have much better control over our cart to play soccer. This is all the code. I am going to share the APK so that you can directly install it on your cell phone, and I am also going to leave the project that is a guide. I'm going to leave it in the description of the shared video so that you can upload and modify it in App Inventor. Well friends, here we have a prototype of a soccer field for robot competitions. The regulations say that it has to be approximately 1.60 meters 60 centimeters wide and long, 2 meters. 5. The regulations also say that the sphere or ball must have a maximum of 6 centimeters in diameter. Here we have it. And the courts. This space here, the goal is a maximum of 30 centimeters. The regulations also say that we must have some corners here to prevent the ball from staying in those corners. Here we have them in the 4 parts, and that is all that the regulations say for soccer fields. For robots we can modify them slightly, but we must respect these principles. Well friends, that's all. The project. I invite you to support my work by subscribing to my channel until the next project.